Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the West Ham Network. Here, Anton, bringing you another transfer roundup. And I think, you know what? It's coming to that point in the season that we're going to get regular news coming out from the club, regular news from all clubs around Europe, around the world, with clubs interested in players at West Ham and West Ham interested in players at other clubs. So we're going to give you the roundup as much as we possibly can, and we're going to kind of try and dissect the transfers and see if there's any element of truth, ridicule some, and also maybe try and find to see if there's actually a legitimate story with some of the players. So this is going to be a short and a sweet one for you. So let me get started and cracking on the first story for today. Now, we know that West Ham are going to be in the free agent market in the up-and-coming transfer window. And one player that's previously been mentioned has now just signed as Brighton. The Seagulls have swooped in and took him away from West Ham. His name is Olivier Boscagli, aged 27, who is now officially signed for Brighton and Hove Albion, having declined a new contract at PSV Eindhoven. Now, the Brighton and West Ham have been interested in the ball-playing central defender, something that we know that Graham Potter wants to do. He can operate both as a centre-back and a left-back, so he's a versatile defender. He's represented France at under-21 level, over 200 appearances for PSV, and a big player in the club's back-to-back title wins in the 2024-25 and 25 season as well. Plenty of clubs were all linked to the player, and because of the PSR regulations overshadowing lots of player recruitments from some of the teams, it looks like Brighton have now went and swooped in and got the man and taken it away from West Ham. As we know, we're looking for that big rebuild this summer. This could be one that we might live to regret, but again, maybe one that we need to look at and think that's the model we need to be looking at, is bringing in these players from all these leagues and looking at what they're capable of doing. And the Brighton model is something we talk a lot about, and maybe that's what West Ham are planning to do this summer. However, Boscagli is not one of those players that's going to be coming in the West Ham way. Anyway, next one up is a second potential swoop coming in from Brighton, and that is for a player that currently is at West Ham. Carlos Soler, the Spain international, arrived from PSG amid, you could say, very big expectations, but his loan spell at West Ham has kind of, in my opinion, gone kind of 50-50. I think he's played well in some occasions and not so well on other occasions, and one of those players has probably been subject to the problems and issues that West Ham have had with the hierarchy, with Lopetegui as well. And I think he's had some performances, notably when we won 2-0 against Newcastle. I thought he played really well back in November, and West Ham fans were raving about him. But it's 7 months on from that victory at Newcastle. And it looks like Carlos Soler has no chance of staying at West Ham. He's gone big wages with PSG. West Ham are looking likely that we're not going to be moving forward with that deal. And apparently now Brighton are going to be swooping in. The Seagulls are swooping in to bring Carlos Soler. And apparently the fees around about £16.5, £17 million. Not so long ago, such a fee would have appeared to be a bargain for that kind of silky, very intelligent midfielder who's got 14 caps at Spanish international level, and he's one of the few players to score a La Liga hat-trick against Real Madrid. But the opportunities at PSG became thin, and same again at West Ham. And it looks like Brighton are going to be swooping in here and trying to get the best out of a player that everyone knows is capable on his day, but it's just not going to be in the claret and blue. Now, Carlos Soler said that his spell was not what he expected at West Ham, and he said when he arrived at this big club, the goal was not to be where we are now. The goal was an ambitious project with lots of new players and new coaches and trying to do things better than last year. However, I really enjoyed my season here, despite not being in the position that we want to be in. I've enjoyed living here in London, playing with this team and playing in front of this crowd and incredible fans. I'd love to have played more and to be more involved in the start lineups, but it just doesn't but it doesn't just depend on me. It's what's best for the team, for the staff, and the head coach and everyone at this club. I've always tried to do my best in training and games, and sometimes in football it doesn't happen by the way you want. But I've enjoyed this year here in England, and obviously I'd love to be in this league for a lot more years because every player wants to be in the Premier League, and I'm no different. The interesting thing with Carlos Soler is, right, I'll weigh this one up. There is a player there. We know there is a player there. And I think that if we do the mass clear out, that he could have been one of those players that could really work at West Ham. But we are subject to the players that we've got, and we have to fit these players in around what we've currently got. And I think if we had that reset and the players out from the midfield, that he probably would have fitted in there. And I think it would be interesting if he does go to Brighton, that you probably would see him step up to the plate and become the player that maybe we all knew he was when he played previously, and the reason why PSG, of course, signed him. But anyway, he could be lining up against West Ham next year for Brighton. Let me know your thoughts on Carlos Soler potentially. Well, he is going to be leaving West Ham in the summer and heading to another Premier League club. Next one up is that West Ham have stepped up our interest in Southampton player Taylor Harwood-Bellis by launching an inquiry over his availability. Sources close to both clubs are suggesting that we are very interested in bringing him in, and West Ham are serious about bringing this particular defender in. Of course, we're identifying defence as a key area for recruitment, and it looks like we're going to be identifying Taylor Harwood as part of the big rebuild that we're looking to do. However, he is going to be subject to a lot of other Premier League interest, and Southampton obviously want to keep him at the club, considering they want to try and clinch immediate promotion back to the Premier League. However, the centre-back is likely to move because he wants to continue playing at the height of top flight and the highest level, and West Ham were linked all the way back last transfer window, even the transfer window before that, and sources have now confirmed that he is, and apparently West Ham are going to try and make contact with Southampton. And while they've not had a great season, he did play 38 games for them in all competitions. He chipped in with 3 goals as well, and he's still only 23 years old with lots of room to develop into one of England's top flight defenders. The fact that he could be available for around about 20 million might sit well within West Ham. And his links to the kind of Manchester City Academy, which he came through, had long spells with Stoke City, Burnley, before joining Southampton in August of 2023. He did help Southampton win the Championship playoff final against Leeds, which saw his loan move become permanent for £20 million. And he's viewed as a very, very top-notch talent, versatile centre-back, known for his strong defensive skills, his ability to contribute to his team's possession-based game, something we know Potter wants to do. He's effective in one-on-one situations, and he does like winning possession back for his team. His ability to cover short spaces quickly is another asset to his game. So I think this could be one player to keep an eye out for, one of those ones that could be rated very highly, potentially coming into West Ham, one player that I think we should get excited about if we are and do and can possibly bring him in. But that does bring an end to the transfer roundup for today. Join us for all the matchday content tomorrow. Hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, please leave a comment. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you haven't already, go across and check out Football Prizes for their fantastic prize this week, and it's the Mark Noble signed shirt from Football Prizes. What a fantastic prize, all for the price of 99 pence to enter the competition. Enter as many times as you want. The prize does finish this Wednesday, so make sure you get entered in as soon as you can. You will also get entered into 16 extra West Ham prizes, including the Trevor Brookin, Sir Jeff Hurst, and Kudus signed tops, Kilman signed tops, you name it. There's plenty of other West Ham prizes there for your liking, all for the price of 99 pence. Go and check out Football Prizes. Take it easy, and of course, come on, you Irons.